fascinating topic. Um, I hope this will be the presentation you'll all carry back home with you. So the topic is pain, immune system, autoimmunity, inflammation, and beyond. Right? So if you've sat here thinking that this is what I will be teaching you, you will be disappointed. Or you will be actually relieved that this is not what I'm going to be teaching you about or talking about. I think that those kind of diagrams just take me to the lab actually, and I find them very difficult to relate clinically. So my focus has been to develop some concepts or key thinking points which you can carry back home. So starting with that, we've all seen patients, similar injuries, some will recover, some will respond to our interventions, some won't. And we've all wondered at one point, why is it that my nerve block works so well in this patient and not the other one? What is it that's maintaining the chronic pain? And we have been given different thought models like it's central sensitization, blah, 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 and all those things, which vaguely make sense sometimes not. So how does the system actually shut off? Who tells the body that the healing is done, now you can shut off, the pain can go? How does it all work? What are we missing? Why can't we replicate the results in every patient? So that's the thought process I'm starting with. So keep that in mind as we go along. So as we've developed, we've focused in different eras on different things. It started with, what's injured? Where's the inflammation? Which nerve is involved? And then we moved on to is the nervous system getting sensitized? And our thinking is evolving, Despite taking all these things, we're still not at the bottom of what exactly the problem is. And that's where we've started thinking about the immune system as well. We see so many patients after COVID where they get a sore throat or they get a chest infection and all their joint pains flares up, their other pains flare up. So what's actually happening over there is where we are going towards. And more we're realizing it's not just one thing, it's a network we need to talk about. So while I was thinking about this complex topic and the amount of literature which is there was this Tuesdays are off for me, so I was thinking about that. And there's my son who came in and he wanted me to watch his tabla performance. And that's it. So watching his tabla performance, I realized that the enthusiasm is there, but the symphony is missing. And that's where it hit me what I need to be doing with my presentation. So what I realized was, pain isn't a solo performance. We've always focused on one thing, injury, inflammation, nerve. It's changed from time to time, but we have looked at it as a solo performance, just focusing on one thing. And that's where the problem is. It's actually a full orchestra. So let me introduce the members of the pain orchestra to you. Okay, so meet the pain orchestra, here we go. So we've got peripheral immune cells, which we hardly ever talk about. We've got the neurons, which we talk about a lot. We've got the microglia, we've got the astrocytes, we've got the macrophages, we've got the T cells, we've got the whole gamut. This is just the orchestra on the stage. There's lots happening off the stage as well. We'll talk about it. And remember this orchestra, it'll keep coming back to us time and again. So let's meet the members one by one. So the first one is peripheral immune cells. These are the ones we don't talk about. They actually detect tissue injuries and danger. And often these are the first players to get activated even before the neurons get activated. These are the ones which wake up the nociceptors, and I would say them as they are the front line of the orchestra. Right? Let's move on to the next one. This is the lead instrument for us, which is the neuron, which we have been always focusing on, which is the loudest, which we've been trying to fix. Central sensitization, nerve blocks, blah, blah, blah. It's important. It carries the information, it tells us where the problem is, what is the intensity of it, and it can persistently remain active and cause problems. So here we are talking about how the performance begins, how the pain begins. So focus on the members, I've divided them. So then we've got the microglia. This is like the volume control. This guy's got the volume control. He can turn it up and down. This is where the sensitization happens. This is where the signals get amplified and magnified, and that's very important. They play a very key role in what's happening. Now, who decides when the concert or the performance ends? Now we are going on to the other cells, astrocytes. This is the one which is setting the tempo in the background, making sure everything remains coordinated and well oiled. So they are the one which are responsible for, kind of coordination of the whole performance. Performance means pain, right? What's happening, how things are being coordinated, and they also play a role in sustaining the chronic pain. The next one are the macrophages. We've known about this. We've classified them previously as M1, M2, they can be pro-inflammatory, they can be anti-inflammatory. But now we understand it's not this or this, it's a full spectrum. And they respond to what's the music being played by the rest of the orchestra. In the sense, what's happening in the whole environment. And they change their role differently with that, okay? And then we've got the T cells. These are the ones which help us modulate things in the long term. So I thought that's a very good beginning. This is something which I've been struggling to understand despite reading all the papers. So I thought that was a good thing. And then coming back to the orchestra model, they're all talking to each other. We will talk about it. They speak different languages, but they understand each other. The neurons will release the neurotransmitters, which can be glutamate and the substance B, but they will in turn stimulate the immune cells. Immune cells will release the cytokines, which will in turn stimulate the neurons. So they're talking to each other. Despite speaking in different languages, they understand each other. And so communication is the essential part. The group part is the essential part. And when this communication goes out of control, people are talking to each other despite the time when they are not meant to be talking. That's where the problem starts, So, just to tell you how they're talking, like the peripheral immune cells, they sense an injury, they release cytokines which stimulate the neurons, they will release neurotransmitters which will activate the microglia, more cytokines, and the whole circle loop goes on. One thing is amplifying the other one. Now, when you read the research papers, this is actually the neuroimmune crosstalk. The neurons are talking to the immune network, which are then reinforcing the whole thing, and it's a symphony. So that's the neuroimmune crosstalk. So I'm just simplifying the research terminology. Then there is a feed-forward loop. The simplest way to explain that would be if one player in the whole orchestra plays a note at a different high pitch or a different out of sync, the whole orchestra tries to catch up with it, and kind of stimulates everything. So that's like a feed-forward loop. The tempo is changing. The things are getting stimulated one after another. Just because there was one problem, everyone's trying to cover it up and match it up, and that's why the feed-forward loop develops. Maladaptive plasticity. This you can look at as, the orchestra is very good, but they're singing the wrong tune. So that's the simplified way of getting that. Central sensitization. Everything is perfect, but the amplifier has been turned up. So the music is going at a different level because the amplifier is turned up. So I saw this like so easily just from that tabla performance practiced by my son. This is where it went to. So there's another problem. Now everything is working nicely, but then they don't know when to stop. They forget how to stop. So that's another problem which we need to ponder upon. So in the early periods, we were thinking pain resolves when the inflammation goes away. That was the traditional thinking. Then we went on to understand, no. Actually, the inflammation needs to be switched off. It's not just it's disappearing on its own. And now it's going to the next stage where we're thinking the inflammation can go off, but then you need to restore balance, clean everything as well after that. The balance or the harmony is the next step which needs to be done. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. So, let's imagine there is a fire. The alarm's going on. Switching the alarm off is like the inflammation going off, but that doesn't repair all the damage which has been caused by the fire. So that's restoration. That's the simplest way I can explain it. So restoration involves removal of all the chemicals, mediators and inflammatory mediators and debris, and then restoring the communication back to normal. That's very important. So if we take the music analogy again, the music stops, that means the inflammation is off or the pain is gone. Then the macrophages will come and eat off the debris and remove all the things which are not required. This is like cleaning the stage after the performance. Then the music group goes back and the conductor organizes everyone again what they're going to do next. That's like the body's own pro-resolving mediators being released. We've got the names for them, resolvins, protectins and all those things. So that's SPMs, specialized pro-resolving mediators. So that's the part of resolving things. And then the harmony comes back, which means the music group returns to play the next tune. So that's like a simplified example I can make you understand. So just to summarize where we've been till now. So if we were talking about the old map and the new map, what's happening is previously we were thinking of neurons. Now we are thinking of neuroimmune crosstalk. Okay. Previously, we were thinking of a static stage, M1, M2. Macrophages will be either pro or anti-inflammatory. Now we are thinking there is a spectrum and they'll modify according to the environment. Previously, we were thinking inflammation goes away, pain goes away. Now we are thinking that actually we need to do more to switch it off and then restore the harmony so that the pain doesn't persist in the long term. So that's how the concept is changing over the time. They're very subtle differences and they can be big differences. So what we need to do is we need to just stop focusing on the loudest performer and focus on the whole group and the coordination and the symphony. That's where the thing is going. So how does that make a difference in clinically what we do? So the interventions still remain the same, the medicines, the rehab, the sleep, the psychology, everything remains the same. But how we look at it and how we approach it is what changes. And there comes another factor which we have ignored, the gut immune axis. We've got the functional medicine guys talking about it. Frankly, it used to go over my head for a long time, but now I've started understanding and making sense out of it. So it is actually what is shaping the inflammatory, homeostasis, the immune homeostasis within the body. And to take it further, I'll come on the gut immune axis in the next slide. But how the treatments change, the medicines are not just painkillers. They are ways to modulate the neural and the neuroimaging signaling. Okay, like the exercise is not just physiotherapy. It's not just. It's actually helping an active resolution by promoting adaptive plasticity of the body. So how you understand the things is what is changing. Sleep is just not wellness. It's like restoring your immune balance and immune regulation. Nutrition is not just eating, healthy eating. It's about having that gut immune axis in its right form. Pain psychology is not actually just coping, it's altering the descending modulation, what we've got. So this is what the life is going into. So you've got to look at it like like you look at the sympathetic tone, how it drives the pain. There is an immune tone as well in the body. And these two are complexly interacting with each other to make you feel the pain you are feeling. So that just changes everything. And they feed into each other. And there is there's a sympathetic baseline or a vagal tone in the body, there is an immune baseline and immune tone in the body. And that is what interferes or controls your inflammatory tone. And it talks to the nervous system, and this is where the active resolution or returning to that normal immune tone becomes very, very important. And hence we talk about the probiotics, the prebiotics, the symbiotics, and it's as complex as antibiotics. It's not like you give probiotics and the gut flora is restored and everything is fine and good and normal. This is an area of active research, very active research, as complex as antibiotics. That's where it is going. So what I'm trying to say over here is now you've got like a dashboard, where there are different components. You've got the peripheral nociceptive drive by the peripheral immune cells which are being first activated. You've got the microglia which are modulating the nervous system. You've got a resolution biome, sympathetic activity, the immune axis in the gut. So it's like a proper dashboard you've got. And there are different patterns which people can have, like a peripherally dominant pathway where your peripheral therapies will work, like a central pathway where your restoring of sleep, psychology, exercise and neuromodulation kind of things come. And then there can be other similar combination where the immune axis is gone and you need to actually work on the gut axis. And that's the difference which we haven't been able to pick up, which actually changes from patient to patient. So we need to move away from the traditional practice to having this kind of a dashboard where we are able to pinpoint what exactly is happening, what exactly is wrong, so that we can give precision therapy to people. That's, the last part of the topic was beyond. That's where I see the future holds, fine tailoring those. So what is this dashboard gonna look like? Something like this. We already have some of these in research, some of these tools. Like we are looking at cytokine levels, and there are different cytokines like interleukin 6 is going to tell you. In ongoing inflammation, interleukin 10 is going to tell you. Anti-inflammatory activities, so that's one component maybe. Then there are resolution biomarkers, the resolvin and the protectin we talked about. These will tell us how the body is trying to resolve inflammation, maybe levels of those, Then there is a specialist neuroinflammatory imaging where you do PET scans labeled with special stuff which will pick up the activated microglia. This is actually available now. Okay, the whole idea is to see how much of central sensitization, not sensitization, how much of central stimulation is actually happening via these microglia. Remember these were the amplifiers. When we talked about individual people. Then there is a microbiome profiling, where you take the stool samples, you see the cultures, you see the metabolites, you see what organisms, and you regulate that. Why is that important, the gut axis? You see, the gut is the biggest pathway to entry into the body. Most of the immune cells are there. That is where you enter the body. Whatever we eat or the mucosal surface, that's the biggest surface, and most of the immune thing is concentrated along that. Hence, regulating what happens over there interferes with the permeability, the metabolites, what we absorb, what we don't absorb, what enters, and those kind of things, and it becomes very important. And the next thing is multi-omics, which is like putting everything together, the genetic profiling, the RNA, the proteins, the metabolites, the bacteria. This is what I think future is going towards, and integrating it all with the help of AI. That's what I expect. So from just diagnosing and treating, we have moved to a personalized combination therapy. That's the thought I would want you to take home. Forget about focusing on the loudest player in the whole orchestra. Focus on the whole orchestra, the symphony, the way they are playing, the sound which is coming. That's pretty much it. So I just wanted to tell you that the way we look at things is changing. And rather than talking about just IL-6, TNF, IL-10, this is the whole concept is what I want you guys to take with you on how we modulate things, how we can personalize things, how we identify the essential component which is at fault and then address it with the current therapies till we get a better profile dashboard which we can then individually measure and target. So that's for further reading for anyone who is interested. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Dr. Amod, for the excellent